Hey everyone, this is Wes Fryer. Today's Christmas Eve 2020, and for a few years we have had prime rib as a family for Christmas Day, and that is a great tradition. These are definitely the most expensive pieces of meat that I ever cook, and so I thought I would make a video. I've written a few blog posts with pictures over the years, kind of documenting process. We're going to do a couple different things today, and so one of the things is I'm going to actually season it 24 hours in advance, so it has a chance to let those seasonings really soak in. So I'll talk about a few of the different preparations. This year we have gone with a Costco prime rib, and we actually bought from Whole Foods the last few years, and that is a real splurge. I think the quality is probably about comparable. Maybe the Whole Foods is about $18 a pound. This is like $17.39 a pound, so it's pretty high quality. I'm going to be using a couple of seasonings from Savory Spice Shop, which is a Colorado-based shop. We have a store here in Oklahoma City. And I was visiting with one of their employees about, the quality and whether or not you wanted to go with prime or whether you wanted to go down one level to choice. He was saying you definitely want to avoid select, which is the third tier down. He had said it's probably about the same for prime rib if you do choice versus select. You're going to save a little bit on price. So what I'm going to basically do is I'm going to go ahead and get this seasoned up and wrapped in some saran wrap, and then we're just going to leave it overnight to marinate and hopefully have those marinated spices soak in. In the past, I think I have basically just kind of gone with maybe a salt and garlic rub. I'll have to go back and look. I've been watching a lot of Harry Sue barbecue smoking videos. I do like to use our smoker to smoked meat, but in this case we're just going to go ahead and stick with the oven. And so let's talk a little bit about spices. So this is called Herbes de Provence, and the gentleman at the Savory Spice Shop was telling me this. They used to carry this and it had salt with it. Now it is a salt-free, and so what he recommended, and I'm going to try this year, is actually combining the salt-free Herbes de Provence with a special blend that they have that they call the Flatirons Prime Rib Rub. And so the salt de Provence has thyme, fennel, rosemary, marjoram, basil, lavender, and tarragon in it. I could just mix salt with this, but the Flatiron Prime Rib has got a couple other spices in it. It's got onion, salt, black pepper, paprika, lemon peel, garlic, celery, rosemary, thyme, dill seed, turmeric, oregano. So there's a little bit of overlap. What I've done is I've basically just taken about 3 tablespoons of each and then put them into my shaker here. And I really like to use a bonding agent with my rubs. With brisket, I typically just do I do mustard, and I don't have a schmear. That's what Harry Sue likes to put on his, which is like a beef concentrate. I don't have any of that, so I'm just going to go ahead and use some olive oil. We are going to be smoking a boneless prime rib, and so I am going to go ahead and season both sides and definitely the ends of it as well. But I think having a bonding agent when you do a rub is definitely advisable, just because it really does let the seasonings adhere a little bit better, and of course that's what we want to do. So we'll go ahead and probably should have switched hands because I'm right-handed, so anyway, we'll have to wash all this up after we're done. When I like to smoke my brisket just Texas style, and that's just with basically a 50-50 salt and pepper combination. I'm going to just go ahead and not quite be getting this opaque, but we're definitely getting a very generous version on this here. I'm kind of pat it in. I'm going to go ahead, like I said, and do the edges as well as the sides. I think it is a good idea to get some height and distance when you are doing your seasoning, just to go ahead and get good layers on there. And I'm going to wrap this up in just some saran wrap, some cling wrap. In the past, I have not done this overnight. And one of the things which I definitely recommend, and you don't have to be a person who wants to record videos in order to do this, but documenting your process and the kinds of things that you change is really, really helpful. It's something that I definitely like doing and benefit from having done in the past. So I have a website that we've used for years, which we call Learning Signs. It's just a family learning blog, but it's basically a place to post things I didn't want to put on my educational technology blog. And I've got the photographs and recipes and things like that that I've used there over the years. So this prime rib, I should have actually looked at this. We're going to have a little bit more than we actually need, I think. This is about 7 1/4 pounds. The rule of thumb, if you're getting a bone-in prime rib, is to have basically a pound per person. Bone-in prime rib is more expensive, and so our kids actually bought this year, which was really lovely, as a Christmas gift for our whole family. So yeah, there it is. I'll go ahead and wrap it up too, but I won't talk through that. We'll just kind of speed that part up here in just a second. All right, well, Merry Christmas, everyone. It's Christmas Day. We have been waiting for the prime rib to marinate with all of its rub, and this year I've actually set it outside. Well, not set outside. Yeah, I've laid it outside. I've had it outside of the refrigerator for a few hours, and actually about 3 hours, which I don't know, that might be long. But what you want to do, and I have not done very well in the past, is made sure that it was at room temperature, because it is going to cook a lot better if it doesn't have to warm up from the refrigerator temperature. So what I will try to show here in a little bit is, because we're doing a boneless prime rib and not a bone-in, I want to have the meat off of the bottom of my roasting pan, and so I've got a little rack that I've put down here at the bottom, and that's going to keep it up out of the juices. So I've read several different recipes. I've had prime rib before where you turn it on for like 15 or 20 minutes at 450, and then just turn the oven off and leave it for 2 hours. That's a risk, and the last time or two I think that we've actually had prime rib, certainly a couple years ago, my prime rib was too rare. Now, I wasn't using a good constant internal temperature probe at that time. So since I've been smoking briskets and other kinds of meats, I'm better at doing that. So I'm hopeful that that is going to, improve our results here. And here's what my plan is. So recipes that I read said, between 450 and 500 for 15 to 20 minutes. So we've got almost an 8-pound prime rib. This is a 7 3/4 pound prime rib. And so I am actually going to cook this for 20 minutes at 500, and then I'm going to turn it down to 375, and we're going to cook it constant temperature, probably for about, I'm expecting 2 hours, but we're going to monitor the temperature. Now normally, I think if you want medium rare, you'll want to take it out somewhere like 115 or 120 degrees. I want mine to actually be medium. I don't want it to be medium well, but I want it to be medium. And so it's going to be important that we rest this for about 30 minutes after we're done with the cooking. And so I am going to plan to take it out at about 135. And Moose would love to help me with this. Yes, I know that tastes and smells very good, doesn't it? So anyway, that's the plan. And we're going to see how this goes. I'll take a few pictures. Gonna put it in the oven, and we will be taking it out hopefully here in about an hour and a half and letting it rest. That's the plan. All right, we have cooked for a little over 2 hours. I've let this get hotter than normally most people would say, 135. There's a good chance our fire alarm may go off as we get this out because it is smoking a little bit. Woo, look at that. Okay, so what we're going to do now, I got to get my foil behind you, is I've got to tint this. So again, we have been cooking this at 325. Hopefully I didn't say 375 earlier. If I did, I'll have to put a little note over my video. So I initially cooked 20 minutes at 500, and then we've been cooking at 325 ever since. So I'm going to be trying, I don't think I actually got this quite big enough. I'm going to be trying here to tint this so that we can cover this up. And then we're going to leave this, we're not putting it back in the oven actually. So I think I'll just have to get some more foil. Because this is such a hugely important part. Let's see, waste foil. The resting part, I've learned, cooking brisket, hugely important. So what I'm hopeful for, besides the fact that I'm wasting far more foil than I wanted to, is that the fact that I got this out about 3 hours before I started to cook it is going to be really good, because I've always been told and whatever. Who knows? Maybe I have done that in the past, but I did a good job getting this to room temperature before cooking it, and now it has been able to cook in the oven at 375 or 325 for almost 2.5 hours. So
start again with the out of the oven.
Okay. It is, the temperature's still going up, so what we're expecting to have happen here in the next 30 minutes or so is that we're gonna increase another 10 to 15 degrees. So I really want to get to about 145 or so, even 150, because I want medium to medium well prime rib, which some people think is crazy, but we've had prime rib that's not fully done. It's been too rare in the past, so we're kind of compensating for that. And the other thing we can just see over here that I'm doing is I have baked potatoes, which I put a little bit of oil and my brain's not going to work. Great salt. What am I trying to say? It's the great kind of salt that I can't think of. And wrapped them in foil and just had them cooking. And so I've cut them in half, let them cool a little bit, and then I have mixed some milk, sour cream, a little salt and pepper, and some cheddar cheese. And now I am just going to pack these, and I'm going to be baking these for, I don't know, probably 20 minutes or so, maybe a half hour. And so that's just going to make our lovely double baked potatoes. So afterwards I'll be christening them with a little bit of Creole seasoning. So all right, we'll check in here in a little bit, and we'll cut in and see how we did this long afternoon prime rib cook. All right, we are getting close. I think I'm gonna let this go for maybe another 20 minutes or so. We're up to 142 with the tinted prime rib there that is just resting. And I'm gonna get our horseradish together. So we have gone to Whole Foods, as I think I have mentioned a couple times, for our prime rib the last few years. This year we have gone to Costco instead, and we've gotten a prime again. But this is called Boobies, prepared horseradish, and anyway, it is really, really tasty. And so what I like to do, and I used about half of this 16-ounce sour cream on the twice baked potatoes, is just go ahead and do a half sour cream and then half horseradish mix, and that is fantastic. It is really, really important that you have good creamy horseradish when you have prime rib. So that's it, just sour cream and fresh horseradish, but it'll be great. We're almost ready. I'm so excited. Okay, the moment of truth. The prime rib has rested for 30 minutes and we are hitting 152, which is exactly my target temperature, and so I'm pretty excited about that. So what I'm going to try to do now is bring it over here to my cutting board, and we're going to slice it open, and I've got my twice baked potatoes in the oven, ready to serve. Oh my goodness, it looks amazing. So it has proven to be a good thing to have smoked some briskets and have some other supplies to be ready for all this. I know, Moose, doesn't it just smell great? Definitely the most important thing is the internal thermometer. I had used a probe thermometer, but it's just so much better to just leave this in the meat the whole time and not have to take it out of the oven at all. So let's see, I guess I'll go ahead and get this one first. Oh, it's the time of truth. Here we go. Oh, and this is actually what I want. I did not want a medium rare. Oh, this is great. I'm sure there are some people out there that are going, oh my gosh. Right now. I think I'll make gravy with it a little bit later. So, shut off the stove. We've got the twice baked potatoes ready. Do we have plates, ladies?
We did.
Okay, great. And I need a serving spoon, please, for my Brussels sprouts. Got a little bit of juice running off here, but this is running the right way. All right. So, here we go. We probably should have a bite for the video, shouldn't we? Oh, that.
Are we serving everything?
Yeah, I'm just going to serve it in here.
Why is the video still going?
Because, ta-da. So, there it is. Medium well prime rib.